Welcome back, everyone. We're going to begin our final short talk given by Elizaveta Korunova,
Yes, really good.
who is also from the University of South Carolina, and she's going to be sharing her talk, Teamwork and Molecular Design, Introduction to an Industry Scale Collaborative Platform. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Do you hear me well?
I hear you well. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for the invitation and for the opportunity to talk. Today I'm going to share from the perspective of graduate teaching assistant, my experience in the incorporating of the new model in the biochemistry laboratory 500 level. And this is the module that is dedicated to the molecular design and the rationale behind this model was that while students have lectures that gives them some theoretical knowledge, and they also have laboratories that give students some practical skills, I asked myself a question, if it is enough to really connect the theory and practice for the undergraduate students. And corresponding to my own experience in the biochemistry laboratory, I see that my target audience are pre-med health-directed uh, students. And of course, their typical goal is to pass the laboratory, earn high grade, and become accepted in the medical school. And this is the great goal because they really want it, so they do everything they need to do to get this goal. But the absurd gap that I noticed, it is the limited independent thinking beyond instructions. So they follow instructions, but they of course um, skip sometimes some application of their knowledge, and really during the laboratory they're not trained to apply their knowledge to their practice. So the idea of the model was to get the students the opportunity to change the state from the follow instructions to the state where they create an experiment and rationalize it. And to fulfill this, I provided them with some industry or medical meaningful goal. I gave them some instruction to design and do virtual experiment. And then in the end, they are presenting the experimental plan and try to convince me and teaching assistants and their colleagues, other students, of the significance of this experiment. And what I'm going to cover how I was seeking the support through the teaching assistant grant as a teaching assistant, then how I designed and optimized the model protocol, incorporated this molecular cloning model to be student friendly, and also integrated gamified elements like grant pitch presentation. So seeking the support, uh, by my great instructor, Dr. Elena Levina, she encouraged me to apply to the Teaching Resource Development Grant that are provided by USC, and this grant it gives 1,000 some award, but also it asks you to write the application with goals, pedagogical methods, proposed deliverable, sustainability, and rational. And as for a teaching assistant, this grant gave me several important moments. So it gave me, first of all, the motivation to bring this idea to life, because I was noticing the student tend to follow instructions without independent trying to figure out some knowledge. And also it gave me some understanding how to structure the model. So from this grant application, the goal of the model became to give the students opportunity to practice experimental design using BenchLink. And BenchLink, it is a free web-based tool widely used in research and industry. And pedagogical methods that we decided to use is active learning through the designing and the prediction of the experiments, social learning through teams collaborate and presenting results, and visual learning because BenchLink tool itself does nice job visualizing things that happens in the experiments, the molecules that they actually use. And it was really easy to deliver because it is an independent project that students can do only with the laptop and the internet. And to design and optimize the model, after we got the grant, we designed the model using several stages. Firstly, we picked the clear real-life goal. It was the synthesis of the industry and medicine-related proteins, like from textile industry, from the degradation of plastics. They were provided with the experimental design tools, and they were working with in the groups of from 2 to 3 people, but with individual reporting to ensure the engagement of students. And in the end, they were doing some group presentation and discussion. And here just some examples of benchling tool in case if you're interested of the molecular cloning design for students and work with it as well as me. So for example, tool can do visualization of some genetic material, of plasmids, of DNA. It can do some reactions like polymerase chain reaction and so on. Just a brief overview for these people who into teaching of molecular cloning. And optimization of the model after the receiving of the grant was that we write project guide, we run through this project with one peer teaching assistant that is actually undergraduate student from the previous semester who assist this semester. Then we ran through it with other teaching assistants to verify that project is easy to follow. And then we had one more run through with more undergraduate students, and we incorporated it into the class. However, to incorporate this model in the student-friendly way, it was a big question how to do it in the more efficient way. So here you can see the syllabus before and after model incorporation, project incorporation. Before, the syllabus had wet laboratory techniques, after lab assignments to support theory basis, and some lab reports to one more time support theory basis. And here we incorporated experimental design starting from the middle to the end of the course. And we had actually some rationale about this. So of course, people who are coming to the biochemistry lab, students, they have really a different background. It is a mix of chemistry, biochemistry, public health, biology students. And we had a strategy to introduce experimental design in the more friendly way. So firstly, we needed some place to establish a common foundation. It was untouched first 3 laboratories where students were studying protein chemistry, receiving first wet lab experience. Then we provided some smooth introduction to BenchLink. So we incorporated the tool to predict some experiments of molecular cloning that they originally do in the lab. And then we already assigned the project during from 3 to 2 weeks, where we assign the project, then check the progress. Then we give them some time to do more molecular cloning experiments. And finally, we provide them the opportunity to present their project, their experimental design with some rationale behind it. And this rationale behind it, it is this presentation, it is grant pitch presentations, where students are suggested to give background of their protein they synthesize, background when they describe their experimental design, and then they provide some protein applications that can be suggested in medicine, biotech, and research with relevant scientific references. And also, after the first semester of model incorporation, we presented our work on the USC Spring Conference with undergraduate students' feedback after this semester, and we are still using this feedback to improve the course. And I want to tell thank you to the Center for Teaching Excellence for providing the opportunity to participate in grants, and of course for all our biochemistry team, that is instructor, Dr. Elena Levina, graduate teaching assistants, Granham Hope, and our beautiful undergraduate PA teaching assistants. Thank you for your attention, and I'm ready to answer any questions.
Great work. You've taken your TA opportunity to new heights with developing a new course. That's amazing.
Thank you.
What was the biggest challenge for you in the midst of all of your other pursuits?
The biggest challenge, I think, actually was to convince my instructor that my instructions are understandable for students, because I believed more in them and she believed a little bit less.
How did the students receive this course? What was the
Oh,
feedback like?
no, of course, students, they complain when there's some work. Yes, but all in all, I noticed that they actually gained some experience that was missing, because some of them, of course, do some, for example, research outside of even biochemistry lab, and usually they are not taught to design these experiments by their own. And I received feedbacks that finally I got to know how to do it by myself. So I think the aim was reached. Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Well, anyone else like to put some questions in the chat? And we'll keep the discussion going.
I think I will stop sharing, because otherwise I don't see chat.
Okay. Elisa Vieta, did you find that the cost of the course, was that something that was about the same as what the course was prior to your implementation of these changes?
It was the same, because the tool itself for the design of experiment is free, and usually all students have laptops, so it was just free.
What's a prereq for that course?
What?
What is the prerequisite for that course? Where does it fall in your curriculum?
Prerequisite, you mean for the project or for the...
Like our molecular course, students have to have organic chemistry before they go into it.
It is a 500 course, so students who are coming, they're required to have already organic chemistry, so at least organic chemistry, and usually they take biochemistry with this semester, or before this semester, or following this semester. That is the worst case. But also the knowledge is supported by wet molecular cloning techniques, because project design in the way to lie down on the knowledge that also comes in the laboratory.